Why, Sky? Why couldn't you just be blue for once? I'm trying to make a video here, but regardless, as you guys could tell, I am indeed looking up at the blueless sky right now. I was going to ask the question, why is the sky blue? But there's no point in asking that question when the sky isn't even blue to begin with. So anyway, those clouds up there, they contain air. In fact, air is surrounding us. It's the only way any form of living being can live, because air, of course, contains oxygen required for respiration, which all living beings, well, require, to say the least. So what I'm saying here is that air is extremely important. So important, in fact, that when I was making all of these elemental top 10s, I could not go without doing one for the air element. In fact, it was even saying to all the other elements,
I am inevitable.
But now, with Thanos memes all out of the way, we are going to get into this top 10 air list. As always, I'm not alone. In fact, you guys are probably no doubt wondering how come I don't have a display of all of the air Skylanders like I normally do. Well, unfortunately, having my camera up to the sky like this doesn't create for a good setup with all of the air Skylanders contained with it. But luckily, I have my guest for that, if StrikerHero Camo would like to introduce himself.
What's up, guys? It's StrikerHero Camo. Thanks, Ignite the Fire, for having me on this video. This is going to be my top 5 air Skylanders. My 5th favorite air Skylander is Wildstorm, because I really enjoyed him from Imagineers. He's like one of the, he's like my favorite air sensei out of the two. And plus, he's like high up there because, I don't know, it's just attacks, he blew me away with the, I don't know, the white path form, which was, I don't even remember, but yeah, he's just one of my favorites.
Thank you for that fine introduction of all of the characters there, StrikerHero Camo, and now we're going to move on to my number 5 pick on the list. Now, Wildstorm was a very cool character, mind you, and Airstrike I could say the exact same for. They're both really great air senseis, so despite the fact that I personally would prefer Wildstorm, Airstrike is still a ton of fun to utilise, purely because his combos are just so much fun to pull off. He's got a really awesome personality, and not to mention the figurine and the design in and of itself is phenomenal, with that massive bird there to assist Airstrike in both combat and for the actual physical figurine itself. So not only is this guy good in physicality, but it's also really effective and fun to utilise in the game, just for the sake of stringing together combos which are really fun on an animation scale and just really fun to pull off in the game in general.
Number 4 is Free Ranger, because he's always blew me away with the unique kind of like style he had in game and out of game. Because he doesn't like a chicken lightning bird with. He just looks so cool. Like, he's always one of my favorites.
My personal number 4 is Sonic Boom, the original Mama in Skylanders. She was so good that Bad Juju went and copied her 5 years later, I believe it was. But regardless, what makes this character so good is her power within the game. Her screeching is extremely powerful and can defeat enemies in a large radius, so it's just fun how effective that attack is. But not to mention, her babies are so cute, really bringing out a lot of personality within the character, with them being a Skylander that fights as a family rather than being a solo act. So above all, I just really enjoy this character's personality and the gameplay where she can absolutely annihilate all enemies in sight.
Number 3, you got Swarm. He's always been like my 3rd favorite air Skylander. He's always been up there. Because he's like my favorite giant. He's like one of my top 3 giants too. And who doesn't like a giant bee Skylander? Like, he's like the best, like, you know.
My personal number 3 is Boomjet, whom I actually like more than Free Ranger, which I know a lot of people disagree with. But regardless, I just find this guy's design a whole lot better. For the fact that he has a jet for a butt, and then just the top half is some sort of pilot-based thing that pilots, of course, for Jet bottom half. It's very clever when you think of it like that. So I like the design, but I like the gameplay even more. His bombs are really fun to utilize. His Jet is really fun to mix and match with all of the other swappers. Like getting a combination like Wash Jet is just extremely fun to utilize, purely because the bottom half is a lot of fun to use at that. So combining that with other attacks is very effective and just well balanced, you could say, in general. And then not to mention he also has his airstrike move, which hilariously is the name of the Skylander as well as the name of his attack. And once again, the animations on that is very well done, to the point where it's not only fun to use to annihilate your enemies, but it's also fun to watch and listen to due to a mix of animations and sound effects.
Top 2, we got Lightning Rod. He shoots the lightning rods, of course, lightning bolts and stuff. But he's always been my favorite too. I don't know what else to say about him. But yeah, lightning rod's my stop.
My number 2 is yet another swap for Skylander, that being Popthorn. Now this guy has some really great combos in game, and not only that, but it also really unique combos, with Popthorn having 2 different forms. So above all, his cute yet deadly personality is just so much fun to watch unfold before you in game, as well as utilize to absolutely annihilate your enemies, because he's very powerful and very effective in combat. And I really like his figurine too as well. It's got some really clever texture in, so when you rub your hand along it, you really feel the scales upon this little tiny dragon's back. And he clearly is a dragon because he has wings that automatically makes him a dragon, just saying. So yeah, this guy's a dragon, and an awesome one at that.
My favorite is Scratch. Scratch has always been my favorite, and she's just awesome. So who doesn't like Scratch? My favorite air Skylander is Scratch, and let me know if you guys have her, because she's probably one of your favorites as well, because she's just awesome and she's just a great Skylander overall.
To be honest, I'm kind of glad this video is starting to come to an end, because my arms are getting kind of sore of constantly pointing my camera towards the air. But regardless, our lists combined would be none other than Wildstorm at number 10, Airstrike number 9, Free Ranger number 8, Sonic Boom number 7, Swarm at number 6, Boomjet number 5, Lightning Rod number 4, Popthorn at number 3, Scratch number 2, and of course number 1, my personal favourite air Skylander would be Blade. Now, you really can't go wrong with this guy, with the exception of his name, which is just basic and doesn't really give an accurate description of this guy's personality. Although it does his moveset, because man, his blades are effective and so much fun to combo into one another. And not to mention, he can have some incredibly high levels of play if you learn to master his moveset. So the very fact that his moveset feels more in-depthful because of that, it's just so much more fun to utilize that more in-depthful side of his moveset, you know, to show off, you could say, and I love showing off with him. But above all, I also like his personality, as I was alluding to beforehand. I love the fact that he's a knight as such, and the accent really does bring out the strength within his personality, because he should be strong. He's a knight, but not only is he strong, but he's also valiant and courageous, you know, all things a typical knight should be. But with that being said, there's also an awesome aesthetic to his design. Combining armor with dragon is just, oh, it looks so sick. It feels so sick in your hand, honestly. It makes for a great physical figurine due to the design alone, and just an awesome character to watch unfold before you in game due to the combination of the design and the personality. Plus there's also a very effective and complex moveset I was talking about before. That basically does it for our top 10 air Skylanders list. I'll see you next week for another elemental top 10. But until such a moment, peace.